Hey fam, Swati Tukon P Nick here. First and foremost, sorry, I thought I had started on time, but I guess I forgot to click to enable the stream after telling it to go live. I'm not sure why, but I appreciate you if you are here. If you are here, I'd appreciate a hello. I have it set to low latency. There's also the option for ultra low latency, but I'm trying to see how low latency works because it says with ultra you can't do closed captioning, and I don't think I can do closed captioning as it is with standard, but it is what it is. Thank you for being here, Ethan. I appreciate you, buddy. All right, so at least we got one person. If anybody else is here, please say hi. I'm using a different phone than normal. Normally, I shoot on my Vivo, but I decided to try my old Microsoft Surface Duo 2 to see how that works. So let me know if the video quality looks the same as other streams. I'd appreciate it, Ethan, or anyone else that's there. So before we get started, I always like to go over what I'm going to drink during the live stream. So of course you can't read that unless you're from Thailand, but you can read that side of it. So it's Berry Burst Lipton iced tea. So instead of lemon iced tea, Berry Burst lemon iced tea. Of course, as you can see, 0 sugar, because that's usual for me. Has an interesting flavor. Let's just say that. Again, thanks for being here, Ethan, buddy. All right. So in case you missed my unboxing, they have a relatively super simple box, but that's because you get a case, which is always nice, and it is a hard shell case. And I love that they have the sensibilities to add like a SNES style controller here. I think that looks really cool. But just to kind of go over this again, because I think it's interesting, and I wish other companies did this. So yes, this device is more expensive than some devices, but at the same time, they've decided to take out the headphone jack. So they wanted to make it right for us. So we still get USB-C to 3.5 millimeter headphone jack in case you still have a pair of wired headphones that you really love. Not something you'd have to do today, but they still decided to do that for us. And like on their full-size Miyoo Mini, Miyoo Flip, they did the flat cable. They also did a flat cable with this, USB-A to USB-C for charging. Remember to use a slow charger for this, i.e. from 10 years ago or more, your computer's USB port, something like that, that will slowly charge it. Don't go any faster than that, but hey, at least we get that. And in case you have a computer without a micro SD card slot, they do give us micro SD to USB-A to be able to transfer ROMs and everything onto a micro SD card to be able to put on your device. So I'm glad that we get that flexibility. Again, I know this is only like $2 on AliExpress, but I also know the vast majority of people don't have something like this. And if they've bought a new computer, it may not include this. So again, kudos to them for giving us that to make sure we can transfer our own ROMs. And compared to the $630 device that I recently reviewed, they give us an actual manual, not a QR code, but they actually give us a good manual. And it is in English and in simplified Chinese, and it's actually in color, and I appreciate that they're giving us color, explaining everything. So again, if you're new to the hobby, this would not be a bad device to start with because again, you can get it with a micro SD card that includes games, but it also tells you how to add games and everything like that. So again, for a beginner, the ease of use score is definitely very high for this device because you can just, as you saw in my unboxing, if you watched it, I just put in the card that they included with it, and I could have been up and playing a game in 30 seconds. Hard to beat that. So what do you think? Ethan and anyone else that's here live or watching later, leave a comment down below. For a device like this that costs $60 US, how do you feel the included accessories are? I love that they've given us some options to be able to add games on our own, even if we have a computer without a micro SD card slot. And they give us a good manual, give us charging cable and everything we need, and even a flat cable, because those are pretty hard to find. All right, so that said, speaking of USB, so the most recent, one of the most recent winners is named Fern. And Fern ordered a USB drive. So I just want to show on the screen right now, I ordered this now since it was my first time ordering from this vendor on AliExpress. I wanted to verify the status of the drive. So you can see I was averaging 27.1 megabits per second writing to the drive, and it was supposed to be 128 gigabyte, which of course, if you know anything about these drives, you never get exactly 128 gigs. So this is normal, and the read speed is about 110 megabits per second. So pretty good read speeds. Then I'm going to delete it off and give it to Fern here in person because Fern is from Bangkok. Now Fern ordered a black one because red is my favorite color. I ordered red. So you can see what Fern got, but of course in black. I think it turned out pretty sharp. Let me get rid of this here. There we go. So there we go. If I can get it to focus, that is always the question. There we go. Phoenix Handhelds. I asked them if they could do the full logo. They felt the full logo was too large, so they're like, well, we can do the controller. I think it turned out pretty well, honestly. And as you can see here, USB 3. You can tell it's USB 3 generally because you have the blue there. And then you have USB-C on this side. And if you want to, you can see there's this little nubbin there. So it does include a keychain with the thing so you can make it where you always carry it with you. And yes, this is on the device, not on the lid. So I think that's pretty cool. So like I say, she ordered a black one, and that's what you just saw on the screen being read and tested out on the hardware tester there, so you can test out micro SDs and flash drives to make sure that their memory is what it's supposed to be. So again, if you were to win, you could order this and I would ship it to you, obviously. Now that I know I can trust their products. I agree, Ethan. And speaking of other recent winners, I could have asked Jesse. I just forgot to ask Jesse, and he sent me a picture of his mug with him holding it, but I didn't want to include his face without his permission. So I've cropped him out, and you can see his mug. So he's the second mug selector. I still have my white mug here. But of course, Jesse is in Canada, so he asked for a black mug, and I still think it looks pretty great. Felipe was the other winner that chose a black mug, and I've shown that picture as well. So again, I'm glad we could have two people selecting coffee mugs. And remember, we've had Rogers, who is also in Canada, and Rogers chose a t-shirt. So I sent him a t-shirt like what I wear. I'm actually wearing today, even though you can't see it, with my logo on the chest, and then the full logo, like the desk mat on the back. And then the first winner won and chose a replica of the desk mat that I use. Of course, you're able to choose what size of desk mat you want to use, or to receive rather. So I gave him the dimension options, and he was able to choose that. Hey, Brainbeat. Thanks for joining live. I appreciate you. Just talking about the unboxing for the Miyoo, as well as talking about the recent gifts that people have won. I don't know if you saw that, but I received a red one for me and a black one for Fern, who won recently and tested out pretty well. Yes, that's what we're going to go over today, is the Miyoo Mini Flip on the live stream. So that is that. Now, I haven't had as many people as I would like to be able to participate. And Ethan would know because we became friends from watching another YouTube channel. And yes, I did. I would tell you if it was a review unit. I might receive future review units from them, but they said at least for now, it's a purchase type thing. So it is 100% with my own cash. But one thing that I had always said to this other YouTuber that Ethan and I had followed was that I thought we should have a Discord server because I thought we should be able to communicate and have the amount of privacy we want when we communicate with other people that love technology like we do. And that person told me no, told me I was basically stupid for thinking that WhatsApp was not a secure method for everyone to openly chat with. And I was like, what? I don't want to share my phone number. And I know a lot of people don't want to share their phone numbers with random people unless they become friends with them. But that YouTuber didn't agree with me. So it is what it is. But again, I want more people to be able to participate. So in the member giveaways, which I'll get to here in a moment to see who our next winner will be. But the big announcement for today's channel video is, let me see if I can't push this up to the top. There we go. I have, and it's in the comments section below, I have created a PNX Handhelds Discord server. So I'll be including a link in that in every video moving forward. Like I said, it is in today's video. So moving forward for all member giveaways, you still, of course, need to subscribe to the channel. And to qualify for the subscriber giveaway, you also need to either be a member of our website, pnix-handhelds.com, which we have discussed before, or now you can join the Discord server. So I have it already set up. It's already live. So feel free to join that if you're live right now. You can join the Discord server. Hopefully not on the same device, so you don't have to leave the live stream. But you know, if you leave for a moment and come back, that's fine too, I suppose. Yeah. So PNX Handhelds official Discord server. Never duplicated because never attempted. But again, I don't want to be the type of person that was like that YouTuber that Ethan and I know, I think fairly well, that was too stubborn to not listen to his audience. And I think flexibility is important because I want to be as inclusive as possible with everyone. So because of that, I have given you the option. Either sign up on my website where you never get spammed and you only get a message from me if you win. Speaking of which, Soto, you won last week and I still haven't heard from you. I messaged you. Please check your junk mail if you are watching this. I hope you are. If you don't, I'll message it, include it in the message for the Miyoo Mini Flips review that goes live on Friday, of course. Also, to hopefully get your attention, I want you to be able to claim your prize. But if it comes to next Wednesday's live stream and you still haven't claimed it, I'll have to respin it and award it to somebody else. Well, I'm glad you're multitasking on multiple screens there, Ringbeat. That's awesome. All right, so feel free to join, like I said, and come to the welcome channel and let me and say hi. And I've created for like what we want to talk about, like them to be forums. So you have the two different options when you're creating a Discord server, if you've never created one, where you could basically have it where it's just a big chat. And I thought for some things like the welcome channel and just saying like your favorite gaming moments, which I've already included mine, that would be fine to be like a rolling chat. But some people would prefer a forum for things like how to and home consoles and there's the specific brands if they have questions about specific brands or taking pictures of their devices of that specific brand. So those I've created to be forums where you create a post and then people can click into that post and then it's a thread within that. So you have those different options. So that's what I chose to do with them. But again, I'm completely flexible depending on how everyone interacts and how everyone feels. If they start using it and say, you know what, let's just lose the home consoles and Ambernic devices and stuff, forum aspect and redo it, and we'll start over from scratch as a channel where it's that rolling channels, like the welcome board where it's just rolling. We can do it that way. I just figured we'd try doing it some different ways. So there we are. All right, so you have your two options now to join. So who's going to win this week? Well, let's find out. And that is up here. All right, just to be perfectly fair, we have our list here, so I'm going to shuffle it 3 times, and then I'm going to hide it. All right, so 1 spin. It will determine who's going to win today. All right, let's find out. Hey, all right, looks like Mike won. All right, congratulations, Mike. I will send you a message after the live stream to let you know you've won and ask you what you would like to win. Congratulations. So I've removed him. Now remember, for the giveaways, you are removed from eligibility for 3 draws. So on the 4th draw after you won, you'll be eligible again. That's why, for example, the first winner, where is he at? This guy here won, and he's back on here. And we've now had 3 since Felipe won. So Felipe is back up there as well. So congratulations. Swati Tukongkret lore 5. I know you're writing in Thai. I can't read Thai all that well yet, but I appreciate you joining the chat. So hope everyone's enjoying the news for the evolution of the channel. So that's everything that's going on there. Any questions before we break out the Miyoo Mini Flip about the Discord server, subscriber giveaways, anything like that? Nope. All right. So again, really solid set of accessories. Again, I know most of them don't cost the company much money, especially when they're buying probably like those USB-A to micro SD cards in bulk from AliExpress. But again, the fact that we get them versus some other devices that we're only getting a charging cable, I appreciate that we're getting that. All right. Now, I haven't loaded any custom firmware on this yet. There are many options for custom firmware, though. That's one of the great things, is Miyoo is a highly backed company as far as the independent scene goes for firmwares. So I believe there's like 5 or 6 different firmwares you can get for this. Now, I will mention the Big Brother did receive a lot of guff because the Big Brother had a super tight hinge and people had cracked. That's why they had a V2, and I believe they've unofficially even created a V2.5, if you will. So this has very distinctive clicks, whereas this has some stops, but without the strong clicking sound, and it's a much softer hinge, which I think is a good thing in this case, because I think it's the overly stiff hinge in the Big Brother that caused there to be hinge issues. So they've at least learned from their mistakes in that regard. Now, as I mentioned in the unboxing, the Big Brother does have quieter buttons, and of course you're getting analog sticks with a bigger screen. The Big Brother is a standard 3.5-inch clamshell, which gives it the standard handheld size range, because that starts at about 3 inches, whereas this is considered a micro handheld at about 2.8 inches diagonally. So this is definitely a hyper pocketable device. Even if you're wearing skinny jeans, you could probably fit this in your jeans, whereas in this, skinny jeans might be a bit too much. But again, you get analog sticks and they are clickable. Speaking of these sticks, these look an awful lot like the Anbernic RG DS's sticks. Obviously theirs are different technology, but they look like the same size. I have that on the way. I'm supposed to be receiving my Odin 3 as well. My Odin 3 should be coming tomorrow, actually, according to DHL. And the just released Absolute E1 I ordered that yesterday because, of course, I need to review it for my channel, and they've already shipped it out. So I should get that in the next couple of weeks. But next week, we have this device here waiting for me to review it on Monday. Well, not review it, but unbox it. And this will be the TrimUI Smart Pro S. And that is a review unit provided by TrimUI. But as always, they are great and they never ask for any content other than please just create your normal content. We love your normal content and be honest with your audience. So I appreciate that TrimUI is only asking for standard content, nothing special. Yeah, I've heard from different sources about the version 2.5, if you will. It's in the description, Ethan. Should be. If everything went well there. Should be in there. Let me just take a look. Thought I had included it. Let me see. Yeah, it says join the Discord, and then just after that, it has the Discord logo, and it says /Discord. If you tap on that, Ethan, that should get it for you, bud. So, yeah, and like I said, that's going to be in my descriptions moving forward. So hopefully we can get a nice, vibrant community going where we can talk about technology and discuss things. The only thing I mention is, for example, on the how-to channel, that directly telling someone where to get ROMs by saying go to this website and do this is illegal. So I don't want us to do that. We can talk in vague terms. You know, if you need to get archives of the internet to search for things, you know, that's up to you. But don't be as direct as saying go to A, click on B, and type in C. Because again, I don't want that gray area where somebody could be unhappy with us talking about that. So, and by someone I mean somebody that has a red logo that begins with an N. They really, really hate that stuff. So we'll get rid of the Big Brother. But Big Brother, I never had any issues with. I have a V2, and the V2, like I say, mine never cracked. That's the original one that I paid for and received, and it looks just as good as the day that it's been received. So now this little guy does have a very dense screen for a 2.8-inch screen, very high resolution screen. And yes, the buttons are small, but again, this isn't meant for long play sessions, right? This isn't one that you're designed to pick up and take with you on the plane and play on your plane ride across, you know, Asia for 5 hours, or go even from Bangkok to Tokyo is a 7-hour flight. So it's not meant for that. This is quick burst gaming, right? You know, so you're done, you close it up, and it goes to sleep after a few minutes. Open it back up, start playing it. It's meant for you to play for 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes. Kind of like the other micro console that I reviewed earlier this year, the TrimUI Model S. Now, of course, this has a smaller screen. This has a 2.5-inch screen, and this does not have analog sticks either. It has L1 or L and R, super tiny. I don't know if I can get it to show it, but that little indent there is the button. This is a fun little device, don't get me wrong. Definitely very different. For example, it has a power switch, not a power button. So you toggle it on. Much lower resolution screen, half the RAM this has. So it does run into bottlenecks if you try to do what the CPU is actually capable of doing. Whereas this has more RAM than a PlayStation 1 had. But yeah, so you can see this is also just a pick up and play device, which is fine, right? It's great for, you eat your lunch, maybe you have an hour lunch, maybe you have a 30-minute lunch. You eat quickly and you still have 10, 15 minutes back before you need to go back to work. Or maybe you take the bus and the bus will be there in 10, 15 minutes. Take it out and play it, kill some time before your bus arrives. That's what these micro handhelds are meant for. They're fun, and they don't feel bad, especially if you master wrapping your hand around yourself and, kind of doing one of these. Not so bad. But, or, just kind of. And again, the L2, R2 are raised above the L1 and R1 buttons, so you can easily distinguish them when you want to. But like I say, there's a bunch of different firmwares on this. So let's just check out here. The only thing I've added to this, I've only added a couple games to this. So not much has been added to it from the card that they included. I love that it comes with the box art. Let me see if I can't get. Oops, I didn't mean to zoom in. Sorry about that. First time using this phone. Oh, I see what I did. I switched cameras. Wow, now it looks really dark. I am not sure why it is looking so dark. Very, very strange. Let me see if I can't figure this one out here. Okay, I think that's better. Awesome, you're the best, Brainbeat. I appreciate you, bud. And thank you for joining, Ethan. But like I say, I appreciate that even though it's a small screen that they're giving us. Let me see if I can turn off the flash now. There we go. Appreciate that they're giving us box art, even though, again, it looks clearer on my end. It's just hard for me to be able to do the zooming with this streaming software. But you get a little bit of a screenshot and box art. I think that's really great. So let me know if you have any games that you want to suggest. I think I need to change the brightness. No, what was that? Hold on. Let me just try changing the brightness a bit. Oops. Wrong button. I always forget because I set the enter button in games to be B, but I forget in the home that it's still the other way. So one thing to remember is with this, if you get this, if you add games and you're still using the custom or the standard firmware, out of box firmware, you have to tell it to refresh your ROMs list. It doesn't automatically do it. Okay. There we go. Let's see here. I think that'll look better. Yeah, you can see the Konami colors better there. That's good. GTA 2, PS1, Twisted Metal. All right, all right. Now, of course, I'm sure most of you know my favorite or first game that I got on a PlayStation was Metal Gear Solid. So the Game Boy Color wasn't the one that I received, but still a lot of fun to play. Leave me alone, let me play. Yes, Campbell. Yes, Colonel. Yes, I got it. Pennsylvania, get closer. Whoop. Hmm. Gotta have a little fun, you know. Life's too short not to have a little fun. Excellent, a ration. Ah, get off the bush. So as you can see, Game Boy Color games look pretty sharp, as you would hope. Oh, you punched me out. Down you go. Ah, got them both. Run, Solid Snake, run. Could have sworn I took the ammo or gun previously, but I had. Yeah, so there's Metal Gear Solid. running around on Game Boy Color. Start and select together. Of course, that's something you can select in the settings since you do have RetroArch as your backend on this. So I was playing a little Police Knots, another Hideo Kojima game that is much more takes your patience type of game. It can play PS1 type games, can play all different ones for sure. Let's take a look. So this is on PS1. It's interesting because it has kind of the same intro music as Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1 does as well. Just to kind of show you the art style, if you've never played Police Knots. Yeah, so we'll exit out of that as well, so we can show the different systems. Okay, back. Game. All right, so we got arcade, original Nintendo, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, MAME Plus, Mega Drive, aka Sega Genesis, Master System, Neo Geo Pocket Color. We got PC Engine Express, PBF, PS, Super Nintendo, the Wonder Swan Color, Shoot, like the Tates. So that's what you can comfortably play on this because of they've limited the RAM. I think this only has, if I remember correctly, 128 gigabytes of RAM. So it's not exactly a powerhouse when it comes to RAM. All right, so let's go in here. And I added Castlevania Symphony of the Night too, because I had to test out the audio. Gran Turismo, Resident Evil 1. All right. GTA 2. Now, Ethan, GTA 2 would have been before your day. I don't know if you've ever even tried playing GTA or GTA 2. Rockstar game. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't just give it 1 gigabyte to give it a little extra headroom. Well, 128 megabytes of RAM, not 128 gigabytes of RAM. See, like they used a lot of the space on the disk for these video files because you have to remember the PlayStation came with CDs. But again, one of the things is you look at the resolution and it looks pretty good. You have to remember screens will generally look pretty good depending on their resolution if they're showing close to their native resolution, which is why the TVs back in the 90s and before didn't look bad because that's what the content was available for. It was what you were watching, so it still looked good. But now you watch that and it looks mush because you either have a 1080p or a 4K TV. Player name. Well, we know what my name is. Well, first I guess I have to delete, so there we go. P-Nick. There we go. And then OK circle. Start on area 1. Yes, please. But again, you have to remember 128 megabytes of RAM for PS1 and below. That's really all you need. That's why a lot of the cheap handhelds only have 1 gigabyte of RAM, because even that's overkill, especially if you are using a custom build of Linux. So yeah, see, this is quite interesting because to move around, if I just use this, he spins around, I have to press the X button, to the equivalent of the X button to hold it for him to move around. Still looks pretty good though overall, all things considered. Get out. And off we go. Definitely GTA 3 was such a big evolution for this series. Not that this wasn't fun in its own way, but busted. But definitely a lot more challenging. Oh, I got thrown out. So there is some GTA 2. All right, and then Twisted Metal. I guess we'll go Twisted Metal 2. Again, I think the screen looks really good because again, it's not much higher resolution. It's probably double what the PS1 is. So it looks fairly decent. Mm-hmm. Let's go with Shadow. Loading on it. Okay, so you have to push up to go forward, and you have to push backward to go back. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Whoa! We both got shot. This is definitely a much more tricky device to try to make sure I'm staying on camera, so I'm doing my best. Hey, what are you trying to hurt me for? Oh wait, you're trying to kill me because that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, never mind. It is definitely a strange feeling to have to push up to go forward, not another button combination. If I were to do it, I would definitely try to remap my controller. Yeah, so PS1 games run no problem. Let's see here. Just checking what we're getting here. I just can't believe we used to play this way. It seems so antiquated to push up to move your car. Nope. Anyways, so there's Twisted Metal 2. Let's see any other lower end handheld or devices that we've had requested over the time here. $429 SNES games. Not bad. Like I say, I appreciate that it appears to have curated it fairly well to include games that do not require sticks. Because trust me, I have done reviews where the included ROMs on a device that did not include sticks was like the only thing you could do to move was with a stick. It's like, so what do you expect me to do? I can't even move this game. I can start it, but I can't do anything else because I don't have a stick. So I appreciate that we actually have, it appears, apparently some customization to our list here. Some college land. I use a Android. I use a foldable Vivo phone. This is what I normally record my videos on. It's a foldable phone. So, and I'm currently recording on my old Microsoft Surface Duo 2, which was also an Android phone. What about you, Bloke29? What kind of phone do you use? All right, sounds good. Thanks for jumping on, Brainbeat. And thanks for posting some stuff to get the Discord server up and running. I appreciate that. I'll do my best to have fun. Have a good night. So if you're not familiar with College Slam, they wanted to copy the ideas of NBA Jam, but make it for college. All right, Arkansas. We will choose to go Arkansas. And then we have to look at our ratings here, see if I can't show them here. Not the easiest to see on this screen here. Speed 6.6. Yeah, we'll go the shooting guard. And then let's go with the small forward. They even had the same announcer as NBA Jam. Got to learn which buttons are doing what here. Oh, apparently B is shoot. Supported by this program has been connected. All right, interesting. I don't know what happened there. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Interesting. All right, well, College Slam, we'll have to take it off of here for you. How about a little F-Zero SNES version? I know Ethan had previously requested the GameCube F-Zero FX, so yeah, let's check out the little brother. Sure, I'll be class beginner. Okay, yeah. Okay. Can I catch up after my poor start? Let's find out. Right after this. Four laps to go. Oops, got into that slow down bit. Wait, buddy, what you doing? Not nice. Breaking out my official Canuck talk, saying buddy like that. I like how it says rank, not position. My rank is 2. Oh, it's going to be close. I think he's going to win. No, maybe I can catch him. Now I'm rank 1. That must have been just a poor translation. Oh, I slid off at the second. Finished second. Darn luck. It's all about having fun anyhow. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you had the berry burst Lipton tea? If so, what did you think of it? To me, it almost has a kid's cough syrup flavor, but a little bit better than that. But you know, I look at this though, and I think, okay, I'm on the Super Nintendo, and it's hard to believe that we're still getting brand new games in 1998 for the Super Nintendo. I mean, how many years is that into the N64 life cycle? Shoot, let's check out Shoot. Scan games. Tate games. Now, we of course all know if you want a traditional handheld for Tate, it's hard to beat the Magic X040. Especially think about how little of a screen am I going to have to play a Tate game. This one looks pretty interesting. Let's give this one a try. Okay, so it wants me to play like this too. Interesting. Huh. Yes, absolutely. Still don't know why this thing's so dark, but yeah, let's try a different one. (1942). Now, I'll be honest, whenever I was, I'm gonna guess 11 years old, I spent a month at my aunt Helen's house. Down in her basement, she had a pool table, dartboard, she had a couple pinball machines, a couple arcade machines, and one of the arcade machines she had was 1942. That was a lot of fun. And then one of my younger cousins came over and brought one of his game consoles. And we got to play that some. I'm a bit flummoxed that it's been rotated this way. So we're going to exit out. So we'll back out here. Wonder Swan color. That's always an interesting looking console. I know it's kind of hard to see here, but kind of you can tell. It's everything on the left side. Digimon Final Lap 2000 Japan Final Lap Special GT and Formula One machine. Well, let's try that. Why not make it a race night? Namco. Let's do GT. Gran Turismo. You want championship, time attack, or car shop? Let's do championship. Well, classy, why not? We'll do an automatic transmission, so I don't have to worry about changing gears. Let's try Class C. There we go. Not a bad color palette. I'd say pretty close to like Game Boy Color, maybe Game Boy Advance, somewhere in between there. Well, they certainly don't make it as easy as the last racing game I was playing, where I could catch up with everybody pretty easily. All right, well, I'm going to exit out of this game. You see what I mean, though? This is definitely more of in your pocket for the bus ride, or take it out after you finish lunch and kill some time before you go back to work. That type of device. It's not meant to be your serious everyday device. And again, that's perfectly fine. You just have to go in with kind of the expectation that this is a niche device that isn't meant to be a be-all, do-it-all main handheld. Now, could there be people that use this? Absolutely. And I can tell you my wife, Jo, I showed this to her, she's like, oh my gosh, so cute. And my son, Dominic, grabbed it and loved it, didn't want to let go. His little 22, almost 23-month-old hands were latched on that we had to distract him with something else so I could get it back without him crying. The Addams Family. So, whoever I'm not addicted. I had a iPhone 12 Pro Max. So, of the gifts that you could win, anybody that's still there, what would you choose to win? Would you get the flash drive? And now you could choose a number of colors, but of course, this is the color I chose. Fern got the black one. That's still plugged into my computer. And hey, look, there's thing. You can get the desk mat. You can get, different things. Coffee mug, T-shirt. I'm curious what you would choose if you won. There we go. Ah! Remember where is. Oh, give me heart. Oh. You have been foiled in your attempt to rescue your family. However, you still have a chance. So, I think tonight's, let's see here. Unk status. Well, I am an uncle, but I'm also a father of a baby. So, but yes, compared to many people, I am an unk, and that's okay. But in Thai, I'm Big Brother, P-Nick. People at my church call me P-Nick, Big Brother Nick, not Uncle Nick, not Coon Nick, but P-Nick. So that makes me Big Brother in Thailand, which is why I have my channel named what it is. But yeah, so just another quick little tour before, say, I'm gonna do the recording of the video probably tomorrow for Friday. But we got our USB-C charging port here and our shoulder buttons. Again, I'm still trying to figure out why it's dark. Let me see if I can't change the brightness up again. Okay. Yeah, see, it kind of washes it out when I do it. That's right. So then, we get our status light. So whenever you, for example, plug in the charger, it's charging because it turns red. The second light's here. Got your power button. Heck, even if you want a lanyard, they got you covered with a lanyard. You got your micro SD card slot. Remember, graphic side down as usual for Chinese handhelds. Volume up and down. Got your menu button, your start and select. I went into a game and then I pushed the menu button so I could get into RetroArch easily. You could do it the other way, of course. But then I changed it so I can push start and select at the same time, and that exits the game and brings me back to the screen. Let's see, you can boot out of RetroArch too if you want to. Here, let's just go back here real quick. So native menu. It's an input. Where is it? Settings. Yeah, then input, and then hotkeys. and then quick controller combo. Let me go back here. So you start off in the quick menu. So then I pushed B to go back and went to settings, input. In case you don't know, just want to be able to help you out. And then you see hotkeys. And this is what you always want to do for RetroArch in most cases, is quick controller combo, start select. It gives you different choices that you can do. So I, like a lot of people, choose start plus select, but you could choose different ones. You could also choose what would enable you to just quit by pressing a specific button. But again, there's not hardly any game that you required to push start and select at the same time, which is why I choose start and select. And then you can go back to quick menu and resume. There you go. So I'm gonna wrap up today's live stream. There we go. Gonna wrap up today's live stream. I think, like say, I've shown you get a pretty nice accessory package out of the box. Remember, we have the new Discord server. It is in the description. So go down to the description. You'll see the Discord logo. You can tap on that and join the Discord. And as a reminder, you can now qualify for subscriber giveaways by either joining my blog, Phoenix-handhelds.com, or by joining the Discord server, as well as, of course, subscribing to the YouTube channel. I wanted to make it as easy as possible, and I want us to have a community where we can help each other with our handhelds and share stories. And that's what it's all about for me, is helping people find handhelds that they may not have been familiar with, like the Miyoo Mini Flip here, and also building a community where we can talk about games that we've played and memories that we have about playing games and what makes games so special in our lives. So yes, as Bloke29 said, I am officially Unk. But I thank you for joining me, for being part of the Phoenix family. And I'm going to let you go. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day wherever you are. If you're down in Oz like those two were, Brainbeat and Ethan, have a great night because it's basically midnight for you guys. And if you are west of me, then I hope that you have a great evening, great rest of your day, because I know it's early back in Canada where I used to live. But if you're in Europe, you're in your afternoon. So all in all, how much ever left of your day you have, I hope you have a wonderful one. And until next time, this has been Phoenix.